Hello everyone, I am Devang Patel and welcome to Deep Dive Diaries. In the last episode of Deep Dive Diaries, we walked you through the 8 essential steps of the research process, the entire journey starting from a brief to the final report. In today's episode, we will be zooming in on the first 2 steps, that is the company's brief and how do the researchers go about decoding it. Like any other process, in research as well, if the start isn't strong, the research process might take a hit. Let's break it down. Now, what is this client brief or company's brief? In market research, every successful project starts with a question, and this question usually comes from the brief. This brief becomes a starting point of the whole project. It can be in the form of few lines or a detailed document. But make no mistake, how well a researcher understands the brief determines the quality of insights that they provide. A short brief can be in the form of a telephonic call, a message, or an email shared by the client to the researcher asking them to share a proposal where they want to understand how the target audience perceives the recent campaign. Now, this might look simple, but it is wide open to interpretation. What campaign are we talking about? What is the goal? And what TG are we talking about? On the other hand, detailed briefs can go up to multi page documents where they cover topics like business challenge, the objective, the key questions that they want to get answered, and timelines as well. Certain clients are so clear in the requirement that they share the TG definition, the sample size, the methodology, and also the markets that they want to cover in the research. For example, in this case, client is facing a challenge where the brand is losing relevance amongst the Gen Z consumers in tier 1 cities. The objective over here for the client is clear that they want to understand the brand perception and also understand the key motivators for the Gen Z to switch. The key questions that they want to answer is what do they associate with the brand, and what is a client actually competing with in the consumer's mind. Moreover, they are also clear about the timelines where they have a meeting at the end of next month before which the results need to be delivered to them. Now, this is a focus brief where we know the problem, the audience, the timing, and we also know the underlying decisions that are supposed to be made. Still, this needs decoding. Clients don't always know how to ask for what they need. They usually tend to explain or describe the symptoms rather than the root cause. A good researcher has to read between the lines. Decoding helps the researcher to design the right research and also to select the right tools. Moreover, decoding helps to instill confidence in the client's mind that the researcher is on the right or the same page with them, and both of them are moving in the right direction to answer the same core question. The decoding process starts with understanding the business context. The researcher needs to ask questions like why and why now. Understanding the business background helps to sharpen the analysis at the later stages. Once the researcher has understood the business context, they need to convert the vague asks into research ready objectives. It is also important to spot the gaps. A brief usually is incomplete, and the researcher has to be curious and identify what is missing. Along with this, the researcher also needs to be asking smart, probing questions. The researcher needs to try and understand how will the outcome of the research process be utilized. If there is any particular individual or a team that will be affected because of the results. They also need to check if there is anything else that has been done to answer the same question. All this can be done with initiating a conversation with the client where all your doubts and queries can be resolved and you will have to gather all the required information. Once all these pieces of information are gathered, the researcher will be able to convert the brief into a strong research design. This is where decoding pays off. A well understood brief converts into a clear proposal, aligned expectations, better timelines, and more impactful insights. There are a few things that the researcher needs to take care of. Don't take the client's word at face value. Always ask why. Don't design the research before decoding the true objective. Don't assume what client knows is the best research method. Decode first and design second is the golden rule. In our next video, we'll be walking you through the process of how to write a sharp insight-led proposal from a decoded brief. So stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe to Deep Dive Diaries. And remember, every great insight starts with a great question. So keep researching, keep growing.